Welcome, everyone. Ready? Thank you all so very much for joining me today. Welcome, everyone, to this full moon book launch celebration. It has been a wild ride. A wild weekend, an incredible weekend, incredible 2-year journey. And I hosted our book launch events on Saturday, the actual full moon, April 12th, the full moon in Libra. And there is a specific reason why I hosted the event on that day. And I want to journey into today with you. So I put a poll up, just wanted to see who of those of you that are on here have gotten your book already, or maybe not yet. Super excited to announce that we got #1 new release status over the weekend in 2 different categories. One of the categories was called Supernaturalism, which is the same category that Dr. Joe Dispenza's books are in. So I was super excited about that. It really just was a culmination of so many different things. So thank you all for joining me today. I know that Monday nights are not my usual time for doing things. And so although we had hundreds of people register, I'm sure that a lot of you are there watching the replay, that are going to be watching this replay. And I just want to say thank you to every single one of you that helped me on this journey. And it's only just begun. The journey to bringing this book to the world is just now beginning. I have book signings happening in several cities, and I'll be heading to Europe and Dubai, and going to be on the news and the New York Times, a New York Times billboard in Times Square, all sorts of fun stuff. So I'm really super excited about all the things that are getting ready to happen. And so I would love to hear, just put it in the chat where you're joining me from, and let me know where you're joining from. And I'm going to give you a rundown of how today's experience is going to go. And I'm so grateful for those of you that are putting on your cameras, because I get to see your beautiful faces. Love it. Seeing some amazing people that I know and some new people. So thank you all so much for joining me today. So this is going to be a combination. It's going to be a combination of our full moon ceremony that we do on a monthly basis. We always do our new moon and full moon ceremonies as part of our Soul Alchemy Collective and as part of what we teach in the Mystery School. And then we're also going to be talking about how Bliss consciousness and the theme of my book, High on Life, A Prescription for Bliss, plays into the energies of what's happening right now. And I'm going to read you a chapter from the book. We're going to be doing a ceremony. And so this full moon in Libra, the themes are about bliss, balance, and becoming. And this is an understanding that it's a return to bliss. So the Libra full moon, it's a luminous gateway of balance and beauty and heart-centered union. It's a perfect mirror for the launch of my book, because my book calls readers into inner harmony, emotional alchemy, and bliss consciousness. And Libra, which is ruled by Venus, highlights connection to others, to truth, and to deeper rhythms of the soul. And not just that, this very special date also has a lot of meaning, because my book is a story of tragedy and triumph and science and wisdom, and also has bliss prescriptions in it, but it's also a love story. It's a story about coming home to love, the frequency of love that is the God field, the unified field, and also finding love again for myself, and actually relationship love. So as we gather today under this, this energy still from the Libra full moon over the weekend, it's a mirror to our own radiance. It's a portal of harmony and beauty and truth. And so tonight, we also celebrate a birth, right? The birth of this book, A Soul Transmission of My Own Descent, Healing, and Return to Light. And so we're going to be weaving this information with the teachings of the Mystery School and the Rose lineage and the rising of the New Earth frequency. So welcome, everyone, and thank you all again so very much for being here with me today and for this sacred journey that has just been moving into my experience and everything that's happening. Oh, so we got Portugal and Wisconsin and Missouri and North Carolina and New Jersey, London. Ah, I love it. I love it so, so much. So grateful to see so many different people from different places, even though such a small group today. It's lovely. So let's start first with just talking a little bit about what's going on in the energy of the world right now. So those of you that have been on my ceremonies before or heard the astrological insights, or have been talking about 2025 is like a quantum year, but it's a fuck all year, right? Like there's a lot really going on. And we're in this really transformational theme right now. So actually, it is also what is considered to be the new year in the Vedic experience. So the Vedas, so in India right now, they're actually celebrating. It started on the 13th and it goes to the 15th. That is their new year because they do not follow a solar calendar like we do. They follow what's called a solar luni calendar, which is a combination of a lunar calendar with a solar calendar. And so this is the new year. This is the start and the beginning. So we've been talking about that, right? Because in early April, was also the astrological new year, right? The beginning of Aries is in the astrology, a completely new year. So we have a lot of these themes about the newness coming on, and we are in this beauty where Libra, the Libra full moon, is opposing this Aries sun, and so it's asking us to balance ourselves with the other. It's about the I am versus the we are. And so this full moon illuminates where we've been out of balance in our relationships, our boundaries, our self-expression. And for those who've been following my work, and we're doing this for a long time, we've been talking about this Aries and Libra axis a lot, right? So we started with the Aries and Libra axis back with the eclipses that started in 2023. And we just had the final eclipse of 6 in this Aries and Libra axis that just happened back in March, that we're still in that 6-week portal of that eclipse, which ends now with this full moon. And so this Aries Libra axis is this highlighting between the self and the other, will versus harmony, sovereignty versus unity. And we're in this place where the North Node, so remember, North Node is think of it as the North Star, right? It's your destiny, it's where you're going. So the North Node is in Aries, which is about sovereignty and our soul purpose. And the South Node is in Libra, which is about this energy of connection and relationship. And so this is a culmination point of the eclipse cycle that has been going on for the last couple of years. So the Libra energy must release the old patterns, right? What are you doing? People pleasing, martyrdom, suppressing the self for the sake of peace. How many of you have done any of that? Are you, people pleasing, martyrdom? If that's one of your things, you've suppressed yourself for the sake of peace, put a 1 in the chat. Let them know, right? So this is that place where now we get to move out of those places, right? And say, no, I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to do this anymore. And so this is kind of, in the experience of working through that, we've got to look at these things. And so my own path of transformation from what I called my year of death, which happened in 2021 to 2022. So my year of death happened right after I had my initiation in Egypt in April of 2021. So in April of 2021, I went to Egypt, and you can read the story in the book, really powerful, but I'm not going to go deep into it. But that started an initiation for me that that set me even deeper on the path of my North Node for reclaiming my truth, my desires, my mission. It moved me into a new experience. That year, I also went to Peru in August. It was my son's college graduation, and that was his graduation gift. And we hiked the mountains. We did the Inca Trail and went down into Machu Picchu. And then immediately after that, in September of that year, was when all hell started to break loose. And by the following July of 2022, I had lost everything. I had 7 people pass away. I had the most important relationship in my life with my lover and my best friend blow up. I shut down my business. I moved out of the country. What that was doing was it was setting the stage, because at that point I was living what I thought was on purpose, right? I had healed so many things. So but it was pushing me towards this another experience of the Phoenix rising, to move into that next place so that I could then go to the next level. And it wasn't actually until my return from Egypt just recently with 11 of my students, that I took them there for 12 days, that I actually understood and completed the cycle from 2021 and went to that next frequency and understood how all of these pieces fit together, from the book to the Bliss prescriptions to my mystery school. And this is all that North Node path. So right now you're at a culmination point with this Aries and Libra axis, asking you to really pay attention to your sovereignty and your soul purpose. But we're doing it in this way where it's about confronting the false piece of codependency and rising into empowered relationships, whether that's through intimacy, family, career, business, empowered relationships that are going to move you deeper into your mission, move you into your sacred soul purpose, align you to your truth. And that's the key to this piece of that, like this movement into this experience. The next thing that we have going on right now is Venus and Neptune in Pisces. And so this is about bliss frequencies. It's about divine love. So Venus in Pisces is conjunct Neptune. And so when we think of this, we think of like deep romanticism, spiritual love, artistic inspiration. It's the poetic, heart-opening essence of our life, right? And so this is the medicine of the beauty and bliss as a frequency. And that's, again, bliss, right? My book is about, it's called A Prescription for Bliss, but it's not about a state of feeling bliss. It is actually about a level of consciousness called bliss consciousness. And that's like, how do you stay aligned to that frequency and live in a higher state of consciousness that infuses every day of your life, so that you get to be an experience that no matter the ups and downs of life, you're living into an experience where you have this awakening to the power of who you are, right? And that's it. So this full moon activates that karmic closure of the Aries and Libra eclipse cycle, which is really, really, really powerful. So we are no longer just healing wounds. We are now anchoring new templates. And so I call that the initiate of the new human. We have finally moved through this. We are now moving into the end of the Kali Yuga. We are transmuting into this energy of 2025, and we are anchoring new templates. And we are initiating the new human. And so this is bringing about final clearing of old relationship contracts and opening a doorway into soul-aligned union with the self, with others, and the divine. And this is the rebirth of the priestess, the lover, their creator. So you want to take and just think for a moment about, like, where in your own life, if there's anything left, is there any places where there's a last pieces of things holding on? So for me, the power of why I chose this weekend for the launch of my book comes down to the story of the love story of my book. So in 2002, right after 9/11, I lost my corporate job. that I had after had gotten straight out of college. And at the same time, my partner at the time left me. And so I ended up laying on the ground for like 6 weeks in total devastation. I just was like devastated. I moved out, ended up moving out of the home that I was in, moving in with my best friend. I had lost my job. I had lost the love of my life, my partner, and I was just really, really, really devastated. And that devastation, because I had so much unhealed trauma from before that I had never healed, sent me into a spiral, a deep, deep, deep spiral. And that deep spiral ended up culminating at a point where I became a drug trafficker. And I was trafficking drugs, and there's some stories about what really happened with that. But that experience culminated 3 years later in me overdosing 2 of my friends in my house during a party where I had given them drugs that they ended up flatlining on the floor of my house. And that was the day that my life changed. And I had gotten into that experience because of the deep trauma around relationship with my family that had abandoned me, relationship with my partner at the time that had abandoned me, all of these things. And so coming back around 21 years later in 2023, after my year of death, so I had my year of death, and then after the culmination of that year of death, I spent 1 year, I moved to Portugal, and I said, I'm going to take 1 year to figure out what is next. I really just needed some time to heal. And that was where I stepped into and lived into this bliss consciousness. And so I spent 1 year deep in this thing. I went to 13 countries. I lived in this beautiful home on the water in Portugal. I had a magical experience. And at the end of that 1 year cycle in 2023, I ended up getting back together with my ex that had left me in 2002. So 21 years later. Someone that had been a part of my life now at that point for almost 24 years. And we decided we were going to try to make it work a second time around. Well, it lasted about 9 months, and it ended in April of 2024, right after the Libra Aries eclipse that happened in 2024. And so the point of doing it at this 1 year junction, 1 year later, for me, was because it was the completion of the story of him and I, and the love that we were able to find that was unconditional. And he actually was here at my book launch in Texas, so that we could share the completion of the cycle, that we are best friends, that we have this deep love for each other, but that we don't need to be together. And it was a beautiful thing. So this is the piece of the story of why this Libra full moon and the power of how these pieces come together for us right now. So that's why I wanted to be sharing with you right now the power of what's happening during this full moon. So what I want you to do is I want you to just take a moment and think back over, we're not just thinking back over the last 2 years of your life. I want you to think back over your entire life. And I want you to think about, are there any people, relationships, things that you have not cleared or completed the cycle with yet? Now, you may not be able to do what I did and go find that person and have a complete finishing of a cycle, but what you can do is heal and transmute that energy so that it becomes the light that it's meant to be. So I just want you to take a minute, if you have pen and paper and you can write down, just take a few minutes and just think about this right now. Like what relationships in my life, or where have I people pleased? Where am I suppressing myself for sake? Where are the relationship pieces that maybe I haven't quite healed yet? And the funny thing is like, although that relationship had been in my mind for so many years, I thought I had let it go. I didn't think there was anything more to heal, but there was a completion that needed to happen for me. Is there anything that you need to complete today, right here, right now, that's going to allow you to really move forward into your North Node, into your sovereignty and your purpose, so that you can engage these bliss frequencies and this divine love within yourself. So just think about that. Take a few minutes to write those down, because I want you to really, we're going to use that as part of our ceremony today to clear the final pieces of that energy. And I don't believe in breaking, in cutting cords, right? So we talk about this a lot on here. I am not a cord cutter. I don't believe in cutting cords. I believe in transmuting the energy back into the love from which it came. Because on a soul level, those that have been at the deepest of our challenges in our lives, on a soul level, really were here to give us our deepest transformations. And so we want to send it back to the love from whence it came on that soul level. So what any karmic closure, anything else left, any emotional wounding that you need to work with. So we have Pluto squaring the moon right now, right? So that's also that transformation of emotional wounding that we're looking at. Let's see what we have. Oh, yes. Oh, we got Guatemala in the house also, and Illinois and Texas, even more. Yes, beautiful. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then if you see there, if you see that pole, there's a pole there. Okay. I'm going to also be doing a special giveaway during today's experience. So you can get a signed copy of my book and a couple of other special things happening for those of you that are here live and showed up to join me for this evening. So excited for that. Great. So just take a moment and just think about that. Think about these pieces and these things and this karmic experience for you. So what I decided, I did a book read or a chapter reading over the weekend at my launch, and I'm going to read something from the book for you today. I'm not going to do an entire chapter, but I decided, I was like, which one should I read today? And you know what I decided to do was I decided to let the book decide. And I'm going to explain to you why that is and share with you a deeper piece around the book and the consciousness of the book and how it has its own experience in life. Like it has its own consciousness. The book came through me. It's not my book anymore. And so I'm going to let it choose what I'm going to read today. So I think that that's the most powerful thing. And then we're going to play with whatever comes up with that and weave that into our full moon ceremony around these relationships. So if you want to share in the comments or in the chat, you know, anything about the relationships that you're looking at or what that looks like. So this book is a blueprint. It's a roadmap back to bliss. And it was born in some of the deepest, you know, the deepest challenges of my life, time and time again. And so it's, you know, it's this book, it's not just a book, it is a mirror. It's a remembering of who we are and where we come from and what is, you know, the place that we live. So I'm going to explain to you first the title of the book so that you guys know how this relates to what we're talking about. So why High on Life? I call the book High on Life a prescription for bliss, because in that year, after my year of death, in that year that I spent out of the country and in Portugal and traveling after I'd shut down my business and you know, left my home in California, I ended up getting into such a state that when I returned to my friends, we would go dancing, we would go places, and people would be like, what is she on? I literally would ask my friends, what is she on? And they'd be like, she's not on anything. She's high on life. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly it. I'm high on life. And it also has a double meaning because I used to be high on drugs. I mean, I was a drug trafficker, right? I was high on drugs. But not only those two things, you know, going from high on drugs to high on life, but because we as a society are chasing highs, whether you are overworked and stressed out, chasing the high of success and money, don't take vacations, working too hard, working 17 hours a day or 12 hours a day, right? Like the chase of the external, when this happens, I will be there. Or the high of social media, right? The influencer culture. Will somebody like my post? The piece of like, how do I show up on social media, and how does that make me feel? Like they've done studies and tests now on what's happening with people because of the rampantness of social media, and people picking up their phones first thing in the morning. First thing they do is get on social media, right? So there's the high of that. Then there's the highs of sex, drugs, alcohol, external validation, right? All those things that are leading to escapism and the mental health crisis. We are right now living in some of the highest suicide and depression rates that we have ever seen. And so this is about what high are you chasing? Is it the glass of wine at the end of the night? What is it? Or the piece, because we're so stressed out as a society that we're looking for something to salve us, right? A medicine and a thing that's going to give us the salve that we need to be able to keep experiencing life. And so this book has what's called Bliss prescriptions, Bliss RX. Every single chapter has what's called a Bliss RX, and every chapter builds on the next one. Why? Because I say, you are the medicine. I have helped, in my experience, of over 10,000 people I've helped, and I've helped thousands get off of medications, things that are not helping them, right? Now, I'm not advocating for dropping your medications. If you're, I was diagnosed bipolar in my 20s. I was on Valium. I was on antidepressants. I had anxiety so bad that they would find me with bite marks up and down my arm. I would hide in closets. I would get hospitalized over and over again for literally passing out from my heart racing so much from the amount of anxiety that I had. And through learning in these processes, I was able to completely heal all of that. And so I say, you are the medicine. And so I'm not discounting that those things are necessary and needed at some time, right? Or that we need to have something to help us. But when you learn how to dive in and deep into your body and align to the truth, your own pillar of light, your bliss consciousness, you will find that you live in a state where those external highs and the things that you need will completely shift. The way that I run my business now is completely different than how I used to run it in the past. I used to have to figure out the funnels, that. How is the money going to come in? What were you going to do? The way that this. Now I'm like, it only happens if I get the message and it comes in. So that's why you guys will see some stuff from me, like one after another. And then sometimes y'all won't hear from me for a month. Because that's literally the way that I'm living my life now. I live my life in that state. Now, I do have systems. I do have things underneath that. I have something that supports me in living into that way, because that's the masculine and feminine, right? So the feminine is this flow, this experience, this living into, and the masculine is the get it done shit, right? It's the systems, the operations, the taking action. I'm not saying I don't have both of them, but what keeps me in that space is that feminine flow. But to be able to do that, I have to be so connected to my bliss consciousness, so connected with my pillar of light, so connected into the field of energy that I know that it's all going to work out. And so I can have this balance that goes up and down, up and down, up and down. So the High on Life is both a memoir. It has science in it, both quantum physics, neuroscience, Vedic science, in a very easy way to understand. And then it has these Bliss RX prescriptions, which is a simple step-by-step guide into understanding how to reach these higher states of consciousness. And it's the first step into what we teach at the Mystery School. It is the stepping stones into the deeper work of the mysteries of life, right? Beautiful. Let's see where we're going over here. Awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, before we get into our ceremonies this evening and all of the fun stuff that we're going to be doing, I'm going to read from the book. So I'm going to use the book as like an oracle card. And I'm going to be like, what does the community need to hear today? What does our community need to hear today? And let's see. So here, I hope you guys see the book, Higher Life, Prescription for Bliss. Let's see what it is that you need to hear today. Okay, so we're going to start with this section. Interesting. We'll start at the beginning of the. So, okay, so that is. So this section is called the wisdom of the body. So I'm going to share with you, because this is part of the, not the story. So I'm going to share this piece with you because that's what's coming up right now. And I'm going to share that with you. And then I'm going to share also one of the stories with you. So see if this touches you today. Tell me what you think about this. And this is something that one of the things that we dive deep into in the mystery school is how to, we work with our somatic systems and our bodies to really not just, I think one of the challenges that we have right now in the world of like getting into healing or spirituality or any of those things is that it's a lot of up here. It's a lot of in our heads, or I'm connecting or meditating or doing that. But the embodiment must come down into the body. And actually that's why, that makes sense. The ceremony that we're doing today is about connecting down deep into the creation in the womb chakra into the body. So this is fascinating. Okay, so the wisdom of the body. In the vibrant tapestry of our lives, our bodies emerge not merely as vessels that hold trauma and emotions, but also as profound channels of wisdom and gateways to bliss consciousness. The intricate relationship between our physical form and the sublime experience of bliss reveals how every moment, every breath, and every moment of awareness can be a step toward profound healing and understanding, or toward more disassociation and disconnection. Our bodies are more than physical entities. They are the nexus of our multidimensional existence. They are the conduit between the physical and emotional and spiritual realms. Spiritual texts hint at this connection, as above, so below. And that's the Hermetic principles is exactly everything that the mystery school is based on, this as above, so below, as within, so without. So this says, and we haven't read chapter 3, but it says, as discussed in chapter 3, the heart in particular serves as a portal, a gateway through which we can traverse the realms of consciousness and our non-local consciousness through practices meant to bring you into your body, like meditation, breath work, and movement. We can cultivate a state of lucid awareness, finding ourselves in the sacred space between waking and dreaming, and heal our nervous system to hold higher frequencies of love and bliss, and connect us back into our energetic matrix, both in and around our physical body. Every cell in our body is a participant in this cosmic orchestra, resonating with the electromagnetic frequencies of the universe. This symphony of light is not just metaphorical, it is the tangible reality that can be harnessed for healing and transformation. By tuning into these frequencies, by loving the wobble and embracing the distortions, we open ourselves to the flow of universal energy, allowing it to guide our healing journey. This concept suggests that our anatomy of bliss is woven into our very fabric and the very core of who we are. By engaging with our bodies as sacred channels of consciousness, we unlock the potential to experience life in its fullest, most radiant form. This cosmic dance calls us to embark on the greatest journey, discovering the bliss residing within us and around us. To fully realize this potential, grounding and embodiment are essential to healing the body and the nervous system. Wisdom isn't merely about learning something new. That is simply knowledge. True wisdom comes from practicing, integrating, and embodying knowledge. So these practices are meant to get you out of your head and into your body. So embodiment is the practice of fully inhabiting your physical body and aligning it with your emotional, mental, and spiritual states. To deepen the practice of embodiment is essential to understand that connecting with our bodies is the key to accessing and sustaining higher consciousness. So for many of us, spiritual pursuits often focus on above elements, higher states, intuitive insights, and divine connection. However, without grounding these elements in the physical body, we risk becoming detached or uncentered, unable to fully integrate these spiritual energies into our daily lives. How many of you have ever gone through and had like physical challenges in your system and you're like, they come out of nowhere, but you've been doing a lot of really deep spiritual work? You ever had that happen where something all of a sudden comes off? That's because the nervous system isn't aligned. Put a 1 in the chat if that's something that's ever happened to you, where you've had a physical reaction to a spiritual experience or to meditating or having something happen. I'm curious. So embodiment is the practice of bridging the above and the below, integrating higher states of awareness within the body so that we can live our spiritual truths in a balanced and connected way. Movement practices like dance or yoga serve as potent somatic tools for healing and reconnection, tapping into your body's natural wisdom. Dance in particular acts like the shaking response animals perform after a traumatic event or even throughout the day as biological mechanisms to release held tension. So one of the things that is really powerful that I'm passionate about in the mystery school, and one of the things that we do in our things is we do not just sit and meditate and go off into outer space and do that. Like, we learn actual embodiment practices to align into your truth, and we dance and we move and we learn yoga movements because your body's creates sacred geometry, and so we use these things to channel energy through the system so that the nervous system can heal itself, right? And that's the key, because if you want, like right now we have this right, the Neptune, the Pisces, Neptune, Venus connection we're going on right now, right? It's all about that frequency of bliss and beauty. And if we want to be able to have that frequency and stay in it, then it has to be aligned into the body. Otherwise, you'll blow your circuits. It's like plugging a 220 volt into a 110 and everything goes haywire and you blow out the system, right? We don't want that to happen. We don't want to blow out our system. We want to really align and into your body. So I want to know, how many of you have a sacred practice where you are working with embodiment or bringing things into the body, or energy practices or anything like that are specifically focused around your physical system? If you do, put a 2 in the chat. Great. Awesome. So there's a couple there. Some of them you can see students. Yeah, beautiful. So what are some of your favorite things that you love to do? Because what I love to share, and we're going to be doing a practice today, but the key is we want to be able to get the energetic field of our bodies back into alignment and heal those distortions. We want to be able to align into the physical movements that do that, and it's connected to our sacred geometry. So we dive deep into sacred geometry and the understanding of how that works in our system and in our bodies to align us to stay in this higher state of consciousness. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to read oh, well, that's the story that popped open. Ooh, this is a good one. Okay. So I'll be reading one of the stories from chapter 3 of the book. So this isn't about the processes. This is actually one of the memoirs part of the book. So this is called Healing the Cycle. And yeah, I'll just read. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. Nelson Mandela. I watched as my mother packed the car and carried out my infant sister's car seat. Her Swiss heritage had gifted her the softest, smoothest skin and crystal blue eyes that now carried such hurt and sadness. I loved putting my palm on her round cheeks and lying safe in her arms. And right then, I wanted to hold her like she'd always held me. My mom and I had a deep etheric connection beyond this life and this world. And as I followed her with my brown eyes, my little 9-year-old body knew something was wrong without a word being said. Signs of fall hung in the warm Texas air, the trees beginning to dance through golden hues. But inside the brown house, I felt a heart-stopping chill run through my bones. Grandma, my dad's mom, played with my 2 younger sisters in the living room. She had arrived from Ohio for Thanksgiving, and I had been beyond excited. This year's Thanksgiving was supposed to be special. We would have a turkey, and Dad was always on his best behavior when Grandma was around. American traditions were not normal for us, and Dad didn't believe in celebrating holidays or birthdays. At Christmas, there was no Santa Claus, and as it was a sin in our household to believe in such things. Though I did have a statue of Santa praying over baby Jesus that I carried with me into adulthood. My parents, Jim and Rachel, were in their early 20s in the 1970s when they moved to Texas from Kentucky so he could go to ministry school. I was born in 1977, and my sisters came along, Wendy in 1983 and Stephanie in 1985, making us look like the picture-perfect family. The world, the church, and the community loved Jim, but he held a secret that only we knew. The ministry doesn't take the evil out of a person, it just gives them a God to hide it behind. Jim wasn't soft and gentle, he was mean and rough. He had strict rules of obedience, and his punishments were harsh. And as I learned quickly as a small child, he could scare any grown man, and I'd seen him drag my mother across the floor by her hair as it fell out in clumps while he bellowed in his deep voice. He instilled fear in her and everyone he knew. I was petrified of him, but I wanted his love. That Thanksgiving week, I was standing next to my mom as my dad approached. Jim, a 6'4" with curly brown hair, was a former collegiate power lifter who weighed over 300 pounds. He towered over my mom, who was only 5'6", and I ended up in the middle of them, me barely reaching my dad's waist as I stared up at them with inquisitive eyes. My mom looked at my father, the man who had been abusing her for years, and with a boldness that only came with having another adult family member present, she said she was leaving and taking us girls. With the athletic quickness, he grabbed her arm and stared at her with an all too familiar glint in his eyes, a look that made me shiver and want to run to my room. He whispered to her that if she left and took us, he would hunt her down and kill all of us. The venom in his voice made me burst into tears. The choice she made that day altered our lives. Though I believe it was the most empowering one she could, she sat down the car seat and left without us. And I ran to my room wailing. In the mid-'80s, choices for women experiencing domestic abuse were sparse. There were very few government programs for help, limited legal options were available, restraining orders were hard to obtain, and medical professionals were often not trained to recognize or address domestic abuse, so injuries or stress-related health issues were frequently overlooked. Although we had money, my father controlled it. They owned 4 properties and collected rent, but we lived like we were impoverished. He wouldn't allow my mom to even buy us necessities, and she would sneak money. She would get beaten. Mom feared for our lives, and on some level, I know I did too. I'd been living in this cocktail of love and fear and abuse my entire life, and the patterns were solidified in me by this age. My grandma came to visit, and we would get a reprieve, making that Thanksgiving feel like my mom's only opening to escape. But that was the last time I saw my mom for many years. At that moment, I took all the pain, all the hurt, and all the blame into my little body and mind. I was sure it was my fault and that I had causes and that I had done something wrong. That was the last time I ever felt loved and cared for. And at that moment was one of the only memories I could recall of the years before I turned 10 for over 20 years. The following week, my grandma packed me and my 2 sisters on a plane, taking us with her back to Ohio for a new life. My father would follow within the year, attempting to reclaim his role as father and terrorist. But in that moment, I lost my parents, my home, and everything familiar. The loss became a pattern, a cycle of losing love, safety, and home that I would repeat again and again. I would recreate the same situations over and over again, always that little 9-year-old seeking to be loved. Over the years, this deep-seated need became a driving force, shaping my relationships and my decisions. This pattern led me to getting married while in my sophomore year of college and getting pregnant shortly after. 13 years later, after my mom left with a young child of my own, I chose to leave my husband. We'd experimented with ecstasy for the first time and it put me in a state of bliss for a full week. A month later, I took our young child and left, only to soon find solace in Brad, my ecstasy dealer. He was a year younger than me, a fit and extremely good looking and a tall Marine. And the moment I locked eyes with him across the bar, I was instantly in love. I reached over the bar and kissed him. I was his first girlfriend and we quickly moved in together. In his embrace, I felt safe for the first time in years, though a quiet part of me knew I was still searching. I masked my deep-rooted traumas and emotional turmoil with the exhilaration of new love and ecstasy. And for a brief period of time, I basked in what I felt like bliss. But it was a fragile facade that would soon crumble. I was living two lives. In one, I was a normal 20-something mother working a new postgraduate corporate job. And after work, I played house with my child and Brad. And then my other life would take over as we headed out on the weekends to dance all night in the clubs. And instead of binging alcohol, we would dance and do ecstasy. As the daughter of a broken home, the victim of emotional neglect and physical abuse, love was a currency I knew little about. So when I discovered substances like ecstasy, which promised a shortcut to the feelings of intimacy and connection I craved, it seemed like I'd hit the jackpot. But what I mistook for love was just another form of escapism, a temporary patch over a gaping emotional wound. Beyond the high of ecstasy, I was captivated by the illusion of love in my relationship with Brad. This relationship was born out of a love deficit that traced its origins to a younger version of myself who yearned for acceptance, affirmation, and above all, love. I threw myself into these transient experiences of artificial love, accruing emotional debt that I would take years to pay off. The cycle was self-perpetuating. The more I escaped to endless nights, the greater my love deficit grew, and the more desperate I came to fill it. This made me susceptible to relationships that only deepened my emotional insolvency. I was investing in connections that were bound to go bankrupt, feeding a love deficit that seemed increasingly impossible. And so on, and so on, and so on. And so that chapter of the book is about harmonic points. And I love that that's what came up right now with what we're talking about, because a harmonic point is when you repeat the same pattern over and over again, but with different players, pieces, places, and things. So for me, my first harmonic point was at the age of 9, when I lost my mom, when we lost our home, when everything happened. And then I repeated it again in the early 2000s when I lost my partner, Brad. I lost my home. I lost everything. And then in 2009, I ended up homeless in my car. I lost my job. I lost my partner at that time. I lost everything. So in 2022, after having years of healing and all the things that I've been doing, I had been working with people at this point for 12 years, and it really changed my life. I had students all over the world. I had a really successful business. I was doing really great, but I hadn't completely healed the last pieces that were there. Every time I'd had one of those harmonic points, everything had shifted and changed and had gotten a little better. But in 2022, I had to finally finish that cycle. So that year of death was the universe saying, are you finally going to heal this forever? And so I did. I walked away, and that was where this book came from. And I went back to school and all of these things. So that's the cycle, right, that we're looking at with this Aries and Libra axis, and the Libra full moon is the final ending of the harmonic points, the final done, right? So when I asked you at the beginning, like, what's the last piece? What's the relationship or the thing that you finally need to let go of? Are you done repeating your harmonic point? Because the key is you're at a choice point right now. And a choice point is where you can make a choice to do the same thing or something different. And so for me, that was burn it all down, Phoenix rising, walk away from everything. You may not have the opportunity to do a burn it down your entire life and leave the country kind of experience, but you can tonight burn it down. You can burn it down in this ceremony. You can burn down this experience. You can get rid of your final harmonic points. You can choose to quantum leap. It's 2025. It is a quantum year. You have the opportunity in this year above all other years that's happening right now. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch my stuff about what's happening in 2025. Watch the spring equinox ceremony or the 2025 New Year stuff, right? This is the year, finally, to say I'm fucking done. and completely transform that last piece of that harmonic point. So now I want you to take a moment and think about that. Is there a pattern? Mine was, I would lose something that I loved, someone that I loved, whether it was a parent or a partner. That would send me into a place where it would affect my finances, right? So in 2022, I lost 7 people, right? 7 people died, literally. And I also was I also lost my best friend and my lover at the time from a relationship ending, right? So it was like everything died that year. But before, parents, things, right? And then it was like, then I would my finances, I would lose everything, right? My finances would get affected. And then somehow on top of that, I would lose my home too. So that was the pattern that was created for me. It was all of those things. And it just kept showing up again and again and again. And every single situation was completely different. One time I ended up sleeping in my car, homeless. One time I moved to Portugal and lived in a $3 million home, right? It didn't matter, but it was the pattern that I wanted to get rid of finally. So what is your pattern? What is your harmonic point? But you're finally ready to let go of on this celebration ceremony today. Because that is the key to the depths of our transformation. So I'm actually, since that was the chapter that came up, let's go back to that. I'll read you the Bliss RX. And we'll go ahead and do this one today. We'll do this process together, since this is the one that came up, and it's very powerful because this will help us before we go into the ceremony. So the Bliss RX, you are the medicine. It says identifying harmonic points. Now is the time for some deep reflection to notice where your harmonic points are in your life. When you can name them, it becomes much easier to try something new when you reach that point again. Your harmonic points may manifest in your relationships, financial matters, or health. The process of identifying harmonic points involves deep reflection and analysis of your past experiences, particularly those that have shaped your emotional responses and behaviors. This is the first crucial step towards breaking the cycle and rewriting the programs that run your life. So this following exercise will help you filter your past and pinpoint these repetitive patterns. You may find it helpful, or you may find it useful to repeat throughout your healing journey. So I like to do these more than once. So be patient and kind with yourself during this exercise. It can bring up strong emotions. And if you find this process overwhelming, then just consider, seeking support at any time. Remember, the goal is not to blame yourself or others, but to understand and grow from these experiences. I think most of you that are on here today are at a place where you've done a lot of deep healing and work. And so going through this is just taking you to the next level. What's the last pieces, the last things that I need to do? So what I want you to first do is it's called the initial reflection. So just take a moment. And the initial reflection is you want to start by writing down significant life events. So especially those that evoke strong emotional responses, both positive and negative. So just take a moment and just think about significant life events, right? That you can remember. And I'm just going to put a little bit of background music on as we start to go through this work together. And I just want to make sure, can you still hear me? And then number 2 is behavior triggers. So what are some specific situations or interactions that trigger strong emotional responses in you? Now think of current day, right? Now we're thinking current day. What triggers you now? What sets you off or makes you worry or feel shame or guilt or whatever? can remember I used to have really bad road rage. Really bad. And then how do you usually react when these triggers occur? Do you, when something happens, do you hide? Do you cry? Do you close up? Do you scream? I was a screamer. And then I had to learn, I swore I would never scream at my child, because that's how the environment I had lived in. So how do you react when something triggers you? Now, are these reactions, right? These reactions, are they consistent across different areas of your life, like work, family, friendships, or are they different? Is there a specific area of your life where you notice that? Now next, we're looking at identifying patterns. Identifying patterns. So where can you see a reoccurring pattern? Do you notice a pattern in a relationship, in your career, in your home, in your finances, in your health? You know, for me, it was one of those things where I've been doing this work for so long. By the time 2022 or 2021, my year of death came around, I had been doing, healing for well over 10 years and been teaching for quite a while at that point. And I was like, really thought I had figured it all out. I was like, you mean there's still another pattern I gotta go to? So really dig deep, especially if you're someone that you've done a lot of work. Because this isn't about like Maybe you're not, I'm not healing trauma anymore. Maybe you're just like, I'm looking for the highest destiny, the next timeline, the biggest experience of my soul's presence in this life. And to do that, what's that next level? Where is there still something? Because it doesn't matter where you are on the path, it works no matter what to look at these things. Yeah, Kathy says I either self-sabotage myself or scheme revenge. For those of you that, I'm going to put these questions in the chat straight from the book. That way, if you need to see them, it's going to help you. Oh, wait, it doesn't let me put in that many at one time. Hold on. Okay. And then more part of identifying patterns is, are there specific roles you tend to play? Caregiver, fixer, mediator. And how do these roles make you feel? And how do they fulfill or drain you? Because they can be both. How have they shaped your sense of self-worth? So here's a couple of examples. Is I often feel abandoned in relationships, or I tend to take on roles where I feel undervalued, or I've dated the same person in different bodies 5 times, or my finances are always a challenge. So just pay attention to those. It's a lot. That's a lot for right now, those 4 questions. So I'm going to just give you guys some time to just think on those. And we're going to be using that as, use this as part of our going into our ceremony portion of today. Yeah. The thing is with this is you start to see, oh, we don't even realize how many times we repeat the same thing. And that's because it's programmed in our body. We have to completely rewire our body, our systems. Because the body keeps score. So even if you work on it on a conscious level or up here, if you're not embodying it, dropping it down, which is why we do this process step by step, then it's going to hold into your system. I'm gonna do that. Okay. Just put a 1 in the chat if you feel complete with this part of it, or if you need a little bit more time, put a 2 and get an idea of where everybody's at. I realize I have a pattern of not getting involved on a deep level in my personal and professional life to avoid getting hurt. Yeah. Great. Okay, well, I'm getting 1, so, okay. Everybody's feeling pretty complete. And this is something you can really work deeply through. Those of you that have already gotten the book, there's more steps to the process that go with this. This is from chapter 3 of the book. So there's, there's Bliss prescriptions that lead up to this one too. But this is like, we're diving right in today because of the full moon, Libra, axis, the whole thing's going on. And that was what popped up. That and the embodiment, right? Those 2 pieces that we're going to really, really work with today. Great. So before we do the ceremony, I want to share a couple of things with you. So I have 2 different things. If you already, and this is for those of you that do not already have a signed book, that were not at my event because you weren't able to be here and get your signed copy, I'm giving away I'm going to give away a couple of signed copies of the book. And so how you're going to be able to do that is this. If you don't have a signed copy, if you already have a signed copy and you want to enter this anyways because you were at the event and you got your signed copy and you want to get another signed copy and give it to a friend, you can tell me their name. Anybody can do that. So what you do is if you've already purchased a book and it's not signed, or if you've purchased a book and it's already signed, or if you have not purchased a book, right? So anybody that has a book is in some sort of way is going to be entered into this. So I'm putting in here the link to Amazon. To enter it, if you have not purchased a book, is all you got to do is buy the Kindle version. So if you buy the Kindle version, it's $3.99, and I'm going to give away 5 to 5 people, 5 signed copies tonight on the call. So all you got to do is I'm going to take your beautiful word on it. Is that you're like, yes, I purchased a book online, or I just went over to Kindle and I got mine, and you're going to put into the chat, I want a signed copy, and I'm going to take your names and throw them into a hat, and I'm going to give away 5. So that's just because we are sitting at number 1 right now in like one of the categories. I'm trying to keep that up. We're going to keep going on wonderful things like that. So if you want a signed copy, what I'll do is I'll mail it to you. So you're gonna I will reach out to you and be like, if you want a signed copy, send me your address, and I will mail you a signed copy of the book. And all you gotta do is, you don't want to, obviously, if you don't want to have 2 full books. And Anna's like, I want a signed copy. Yes. So if you bought a Kindle book online, or if you bought a regular book online, right? But right now, if you haven't bought a book yet, obviously you could possibly win a signed copy. So if you get the Kindle version, that's going to be your entry into the little bucket. Okay. Yeah. And then hold on, got some background noise here. Dun, 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 dun. Beautiful. And then at the after the ceremony, I'm going to yes, I bought an Amazon book, but a signed copy would be awesome too. Yes, Sarah. Yes, okay. And then at the end of today, I'm going to share with you how you can get on the wait list for the mystery school that's starting at the end of May. I'm not going to talk about the mystery school today, but if you're interested in signing up to get more information, you can get on the wait list. And then also, I'm going to share with you how you can get one of my program that actually goes with this book called the Bliss RX Method, and a bunch of other cool things, and a session with me, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll do that after the ceremony. So just go ahead, and I'm going to take your word on it. When you say, I want a signed copy, it means that you purchased the book, a Kindle or whatever online, or like Sarah, you already purchased the actual book, but you want a signed copy. and we will be doing that. Okay, so today's ceremony, we're going to be working with these patterns, these harmonic points. Let me turn off this background music. We're going to be using something completely different for the frequencies today. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Hold on. So we're going to be working with the with those harmonic points, and we're also going to be doing a embodiment. We're going to be doing an activation in our womb chakra and a rose lineage activation today. So we're going to be allowing ourselves to step into our center of creation, because the center of creation is what takes you towards your north node. It takes you towards the sovereign self and your soul's purpose, because it's not enough for us to dream it and believe it and have it up on these other levels, but I need to embody it down into that womb, into that place. You know, think of a womb, right? No matter male or female, the womb is this place of creation. And I know we've been doing a lot of womb stuff right now, right? So our archetypes for today that we're working with is Mary Magdalene, who, you know, that's about sacred devotion in the rose codes. Isis, which is rebirth through the feminine mysteries. Hathor, which is sound and sensuality and beauty as a healing path, right? And in Venus, which is that embodied balance and sovereignty and love. We're going to be working with those energies today as we take a journey into, first, clearing out that pattern, allowing yourself to heal it, see it, know it, and then birthing into the world your next level, your next experience, your next place. So let me just put on this frequency in the background for us all. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna find it. Okay. All right, here we go. Great, so I want you to just now take a moment to close your eyes. And just start breathing into your heart. Just breathing in for 5. Hold for 5. And breathing out for 5. Breathing in for 5. Hold. Breathing out. Just allowing yourself to just come into this moment, it's this time. And you're going to just start to feel and see and notice in the center of your heart a beautiful rose. Just notice, what color is it? This rose is the gateway into your heart wisdom, into the place that knows the truth about the harmonic points, the patterns that we're here to serve you in love. Through the portal of love of your heart. It knows the truth behind the pain, the pattern, the trauma, the experience. So just start to feel, see, and notice this blooming rose starts to open. As you walk through the gateway that is your heart, right into and through this beautiful rose and into your inner being, into your inner temple. And as you step into this beautiful inner temple, just notice what does it look like? What is it in there? Is it a crystalline chamber or a beautiful garden? This is your temple, your center of creation. And with every breath, you feel these petals unfold, revealing your deepest truths. Calling in the beautiful feminine energies to be here with you on this journey today. Mary Magdalene, coming up to your left. Isis above your crown. Hathor to your right. And Venus at the back of your heart. And just see who you feel most called to today as we take this journey. Is it Mary Magdalene and her rose codes and that sacred union, that sacred devotion? Is it Isis who is here today to work with us on the rebirth? Or is it Hathor who's here to bring you sensuality through sound and beauty? Or is it Venus to show you that embodied balance and that sovereignty and love? Who is it that's here to help you to heal this harmonic point? To quantum leap. To finally close the chapter. Asikre entire settere ose. Aserete isente esere asira asikre asira ante te sira hatiari adintia gadisiare dia. Asate yarasi. You may feel that you need to move your body or your hands into a specific mudra. Maybe it's placing them on your heart or on your belly. Just follow what is intuitive to you now. As we now start to take a journey deep, deep into your past, into the core point, into the core experience that created this harmonic point in your life so that you can heal it now. Allowing your guides and your higher self and the parts of you that know how to start to allow you to float through the wisdom of your heart and the portal of love to show you a scene or a place or an experience, a moment in time that is the root of this experience that is now showing up in your life, that you can finally transmute back into the energy and the frequency of love from whence it came. You may see a full scene, or maybe you're one of your other clairs. Maybe you feel it or know it or sense it or smell it. Just be asked to show and that sense to be dialed up in your system today. Just allowing yourself to Feel, sense, and notice. What was the positive lesson that you were supposed to learn from this experience so that you can finally break that cycle? What are you here today to finally heal? What repetitive pattern are you no longer willing to go back to again? Is there an emotion that is attached to this experience? And can you look at it with love instead? What is the truth? The soul's view. So asking your higher self to come in and look down on that experience or this knowing or this feeling with you. What does your higher self want you to know about this right now? Did it make you stronger? Did it make you more confident? Did it teach you how to be self-sufficient? Like what is the beauty, the gratitude that you can have for this experience, but then no longer need that experience again? And now, as you stand at this point, I want you to look out into your future, and I want you to see the spiral of time that exists. And every time that this harmonic point shows up on your spiral of time in your life, and notice it. Are you ready? Are you finally ready to break that pattern? You must consciously make a choice. Maybe even say yes out loud. Yes, yes, yes. Send love to that other version of you, to everyone else involved, to that whole experience. Send a beautiful, deep love. And now take that younger or other version of yourself, or that lesson that you were here to learn, and embody that, the strength, the power. And as you do, you'll start to see from this moment in time, in that spiral of your life, you start to see a golden thread of energy, a helix of energy like DNA starts to swirl up and around the energy of the spiral of time of your life, as it starts to transmute that energy back into love, pouring that energy of divine love into your entire timeline, allowing it to shift, to move, to change. Allow light codes and light language and information to start to transform and transmute that energy back into love, seeing those points dissolve. And as you do, you start to feel in your body lighter. Frequencies of light and love start pouring down in through your crown chakra, right down into that portal of your heart. Yes, yes, yes. And now we start to take into this experience that sovereign experience of you into your future, into your north node, into your purpose. As we now start to drop this energy from the heart down into the womb, into that womb chakra, which is right there in your belly, right behind the sacral chakra. It's the place of that birth and that creation, bringing it down into your belly. I want you to start to breathe now deep into your belly, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Releasing the last frequencies of whatever's not aligned to you, and breathing in the frequency of love. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in deep into the belly. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep that breath up, breath in, breath out, allowing yourself to rise and bring up that frequency, bringing yourself into a state of love, the frequency of love and bliss, embodied radiance. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Yes, 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 you've got this. Keep breathing. Dropping deep into the belly, into the womb, allowing yourself to start to float in this dark feminine energy. Into your own creative nature. What is now being ready to be birthed through you? What can you birth and create when you're no longer living in the old patterns? What's available to you now? Keep breathing in, into that belly, and breathing out. Allowing yourself to align to a new frequency, to get a message from one of your guides of what is available for you now. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I want you to start as you're breathing to allow your consciousness to just float. Float in that beautiful nothingness, the frequency of the field, that womb of creation. And as you do, golden threads of energy start to entwine themselves, and maybe they show up as words or an object or a person or a place. Just notice what is the gift that's here for you in this moment, that's in your womb, that's ready to be created from you. Maybe it's the gift of divine union and love, or the gift of a new career, or the gift of a new knowing. What is the gift of golden threads that is solidifying now in the womb of your creation? As you're releasing what no longer aligns, claiming the wisdom of your womb. And on your next breath in, I want you to breathe in as deep as you can, all the way in, all the way in, all the way in, deep, deep into that belly. Allow that energy to flow. Feel the energy of that breath moving around in that pelvic bowl, in that lower area, that region. Just feel it. Hold it in there and allow it to move until you can start to actually feel the energy in your body. And just ask, what am I birthing now? And then just breathe out and release and receive. Because what is it? The womb, it's about receiving. What am I here to receive? So just breathe and receive. Staying in this container. What are you here to receive today? Now placing your hands on your womb chakra, on the lower belly. Asikere sere ati sire se akete sire asia hantere sere O fikren si sicere can sidete asereo. And now from this place, just allowing these divine feminine women that are here with us today, Mary Magdalene, Isis, Hathor, and Venus, who has a message for you right now about what you are receiving and birthing. Now we start to travel from this deep womb space back up to the portal of our heart on a golden ladder, spiraling up that energy all the way in, connecting that womb with that heart, that deep love and intuition. As you start to travel back out of the portal of your heart and back into the wisdom of your body, into this place and into this time. And then allowing yourself to just think of what's one embodied practice, one way that I can take movement, action towards this creation, towards this receivership. Maybe you feel it in the bliss of dancing, or in sexual pleasure, or walking out in nature and hugging a tree, or some yoga. Or maybe it's an action in sending an email, writing a letter, calling a friend. Whatever it is. How are you going to take this into the physical reality of your world, into the movement of who you are? Yes, yes, yes. Starting to come back now to this space and this time. Start to feel that energy moving. So we start to come back. That's it. Feel it in your body. Yeah. Feel the bliss. Yeah. There you go. Get it moving. Yeah. Come back fully into the space. Yeah. Voice is one of your most powerful things. So if you want, sing your voice, use your mouth, like get out that voice, not just the body, but the voice, right? Allow yourself to become that divine channel. Oh, no. Yes, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Awesome. Yes, so beautiful. I love it. I'm seeing those of you I can see on here dancing. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just take a moment, and if you want to share any of your experience, you can raise your, I love when that happens. Okay, if you want to share your experience, you can like raise your, put the little hand up and raise your hand. I got a lot of direct messages saying, I want a book. Now, I don't know. So what I need you to do is, if you said that, please also drop your email in a message to me, because some of them, like it's a first name or whatever. I'm not exactly sure who everyone is. So I'm gonna also need your email. And if you're someone that you still want to get in on that contest and you're like, I'm on this call and but I'm gonna go get the book afterwards, just shoot me an email and be like, I did it, I got my book, can you put me in the contest, right? And I will do that. So you can have time, after this call to grab your Kindle version, so that you can enter to get a book, a signed book. Awesome, everyone. How did that feel? Good? Yeah? Awesome. Yeah, beautiful. Well, if anybody wants to share any of their experience, you're welcome to. The book High on Life, it was a 2-year, really profound journey for me, and it is a channeled book, because although I was working and writing on the book for 1.5 years, I lost the entire book in July of 2024, 2 days before it was due for 3rd rounds of edits, and channeled the book in 8 days. Finished it on the 8/8 portal at 8 p.m. with 55,533 words with 3 new chapters. And the book is not anywhere near the first book that I wrote, starting in June of 2023. And so those that have already started reading it and those that have already read it, Barbara is the only person that has actually read the entire book, because most everybody else got the book on Saturday. But Barbara was one of the few people that wasn't somebody that endorsed the book, that got the book months ago and read it. And she says it's a healing transmission. I've already got a couple people that started reading the book over the weekend that have sent me some messages. So it is my gift to the world. And I hope that it does whatever it's meant to. The book has its own consciousness, right? It's going to do what it meant to. Ordered on Amazon. Yeah, exactly. Ordered on Amazon. It's also on Barnes and Nobles and on Hay House, but Amazon is where I get the rankings for all the beautiful things. So I'm going to put into the chat. I'm not going to talk about the mystery school today. We already there's many of you that are already on this call that are in our mystery school that have signed up for our May round when we did our early pre-launch. But if you are like, I don't know much about it yet, but I want more information, or I'm interested, just sign up for the wait list, and you'll get information. We'll be sharing about. I'll be sharing more about that later and all those things. And I was going to tell you guys about something else, but I'm going to wait on that. I'm going to wait on the other piece of about the other program and stuff like that. I just want you guys to focus on this energy right here and noticing your patterns. Now, the key, right, to any work is we do the work, right? We answer these questions. We find our patterns. We go in and we do spiritual, we rewire our energy systems. But the key is once you rewire your energy system, right? We've rewired your energy system today on some level. If you go back to the old way of doing things, you're re-imprinting that old pattern, and those old things will still show up again. That is why, for me, why I have the mystery school, why we have the Soul Alchemy Connect Collective, why we do these things, because it is a process. It's not like I get to do this one time and everything just fucking woo, right? No, it is, and you get to do it in community. You get to do these pieces together. You get to, it's like peeling off, I don't like to say layers of an onion. I say it's like peeling off the petals of a rose, right? Every time you peel one off, there's more on the inside. That's what we're doing. We're rewiring the system, the body, the brain, the energy system, so that you can become the light, the pillar of light. And that is the key to this work and doing that. So show up for yourself, be a part of community, really dive deep into this. In chapter 3, go back, there's a lot more to that. Really look at those patterns, see how they're showing up for you, like what is going through that. Every single chapter, the Bliss RX, the prescription, right? The Bliss prescription builds on the chapter from before. So you can go through, and each chapter, like once you start working on these layers, you go to the next chapter, and then it goes deeper until you're getting into this place where you're working through to aligning yourself to this higher state of existence. And that's the key. So thank you all for joining me. Nobody seems to be raising their hand, and this is, if you want to say something, I will definitely be happy to stay on. I see so many faces that I love, or at least thank you all so much for joining me. And I'm not going to pop off right away because I need to go in and make sure that I get the emails from from everybody on here. Okay, there's still a couple people I don't know. I'm going to have to figure out. Thank you. Love you so much too. Yes. I want a signed copy. Okay. If you popped off already and I did not get your email, I will find a way to find you. I will find a way to find you and do that for you. Yes. I'm putting that in. Okay. Let's see who else got down here some more. Thank you. Okay, everyone. Bye. Love you. Thank you so much. I hope to see you soon. And again, if you said I want a signed copy, please throw in your email so that I can make sure that I know who you are. There's another one. A couple more. Okay. Okay. All right, everyone. Bye-bye. See you soon. Love you.